Good day everyone! We are going to discuss the strategy formulation framework. So, ang strategy formulation, di ba, it is the process of deciding what a company should do para ma-achieve nila ang ilahang goals and to succeed. So, in strategy generation and selection, there is a three-stage decision-making framework. So, the first stage is the input stage. So, the input stage, muna siyang pinaka-first step sa strategy formulation. So, ang purpose niya is to gather and organize all important information that a company needs before sila mag-create or mag-formulate sa strategy. So, ang company, they will look at both internal and external factors. So, ang internal factors, diba, these are factors that are inside the company, while ang external factors are factors outside the company, or something that factors that are like beyond their control. So, the information is organized using input matrices. So, this is a tool used to organize and summarize the all important information about the company before na mag-develop sila sa strategies. So, this can help them to determine which factors are more important. So, once the company has gathered all the necessary information, so it will move to the second stage, which is the matching stage. So here, the company matches its internal factors with the external factors to develop possible strategies. So for example, if a cafe has a loyal customer, so that's their strength, and there is a growing demand for food delivery, that's an opportunity. So the cafe can use its loyal customer base to promote a new delivery service. So ang company ilang gigamit ang ilahang strength para maka-take advantage sa opportunity. So the company creates several strategies that could potentially solve its problems or help achieve its goals. So mag-create sila og possible strategies. So dili pa ni siya final. So ang matching stage is just about connecting what the company has or lacks with what is happening outside the company to create possible strategies. And then the final stage is the decision stage. So it is about choosing kung unsa ang best strategy among the alternatives. So the quantitative strategic planning matrix or QSPM is used at this stage. So here is the strategic formulation framework. So these are tools that are used in the stages. So in stage 1, the input stage, there is the external factor evaluation matrix. So it looks at the external factors, and then the competitive profile matrix, CPM. So it looks at how you stand out in sa imong competitors, and then the internal factor evaluation. And then in stage 2, the matching stage, so it uses the SWOT matrix, the SPACE matrix, the Boston Consulting Group matrix, the internal external matrix. And then on the last stage is the decision stage. So in this stage, only one tool is used, which is the quantitative strategic planning matrix. So ang kaning strategies, it uses kanang numbers to determine which strategy is the best. So the TOS matrix. So TOS matrix is used for outlining a company's strategic alternatives. So first, we need to remember nga ang SWOT and TOS they're kanang closely related, but they have a slightly different purposes. So ang SWOT, it mainly tells us what the situation is. So it does not directly tell us kung unsa nga strategies the company should take. So the TOS matrix takes the information nga gikan sa SWOT, and then it matches these factors para maka-develop og possible strategies. So there are 4 types of TOS strategies. So there is SO, WO, ST, and WT. So first is the SO, which means strength, opportunities, strategy. So an SO strategy, it uses the company's strengths to take advantage sa kanang external opportunities. So that just like sa akong example earlier, so the company can use its loyal customer base para mag-promote and grow sa ilang delivery service. So gamiton ang strength para mag-take advantage sa opportunities. Next is the weaknesses, opportunities, or WO strategy. So ang WO strategy, it uses an external opportunity para ma-overcome nila or ma-improve nila ang internal weakness. So sometimes a company sees a good opportunity pero dili sila paka-take og advantage kay naa sila weakness. So for example, a company may have an opportunity to use a new technology, but because their employees do not have the necessary skills para magamit tong technology, so ang businesses, they could provide training para ma-improve nila ang katong skills and then take advantage of the technology. So it uses opportunities para ma-improve ang weaknesses. And then we have the strengths, dangers, or it could be strength, threats, strategies, ST strategies. So it uses the company strengths para to deal with or reduce the external threats. So having a strong position does not necessarily mean nga kinahanglan ng company directly fight nila ang tanan threat. So instead, it can use its advantages para ma-lessen ang effect of those external threats. So for example, if a company has strong customer loyalty and naay new competitors nga nag-enter sa market, so it can use its strong relationship with their customers to maintain their loyalty. So gamiton ang strength para ma-protect nila ang ilang business from the threats. And lastly, we have the weaknesses, threats, or WT strategy. So, WT strategy is kanang defensive or preventive nga strategy. So, this situation kanang it occurs when ang company has internal weaknesses while at the same time they are facing external threats. So, ang company, because of this, the company is vulnerable. So, it needs to reduce its weaknesses and avoid or lessen the threats nga kina-faces. So for example, a cafe with a weak finances is facing strong competition. So they need to reduce their unnecessary expenses, focus more on its important activities, or make other changes to protect the business. So if the situation becomes very serious, the company may need to reduce its workforce or sell parts of the business or just declare bankruptcy and liquidate their assets. Figure 2 here shows an example of Toast matrix. So a Toast matrix has a total of 9 cells. So there's 3 here, another 3 here, and 3 here. So in Toast matrix, one cell is always left blank, so which is this one. So as displayed, there are 4 cells for each critical component. So these are the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And then there are another 4 for each approach, which is kaning WO strategies and ST strategies and WT strategies. So the creation of the Toast matrix can be understood in 8 steps. So the first step is to list or identify the company's major external or outside opportunities. And then step 2 is to list or identify the major external threats or dangers. And then on the step 3 is to identify the company's internal strengths. And then step 4 is to identify the company's internal weaknesses. So at this point, you already have the S, W, O, and T or SWOT. So then you can start matching them. So step 5 is to match the strengths and the opportunities, so meaning SO strategies. And then step 6 is to match the weaknesses and the opportunities, so meaning WO strategies. And then step 7, i-match nimo ang strengths and threats, meaning ST strategies. And lastly is to match the weaknesses and the threats, so meaning ang WT strategies. So space analysis, so it stands for strategic position and action evaluation. So this is a tool to help a company evaluate ang ilang current strategic position and to help them determine kung unsa ang type of strategy nga ilang i-follow. So useful ni siya because a company should not choose a strategy simply because kanang it sounds good. So dapat ang strategy, it should be appropriate to the company's actual situation. So the space matrix has 4 quadrants and each quadrant represents a different strategic approach. So naay aggressive, competitive, conservative, or defensive. So the space matrix has a total of 4 dimensions. So naay duha ka internal dimension ug naay duha ka external dimensions. So sa internal dimension naay financial position and competitive position. And also sa ang duha ka external dimension is the stability position and industry position. So these 4 factors can help determine which type of strategy is most suitable for the company. So the internal dimension. So ang internal dimensions, it looks at the factors within the company. So first is the financial position. So this basically refers to kung unsa ka financially strong ang company. So it looks at the amount of money and assets that the firm possesses. So it looks at whether nabay enough money, assets, and financial capacity para mag-support sa ilahang strategies. So these factors measure whether financially strong ba ang company. So first is the income. Syempre, this is the profit and then the return on investment. So muning profit that is earned from the investment sa company. And then leverage, muning ang amount of debt that the company uses compared sa ilahang own funds. And then liquidity, muning ability to quickly get cash and then capital needed in comparison. So meaning amount of money available to support the operations of business. And then money or cash flow, meaning the money that comes into the business and goes out of the business. And then simple exit to market. So this is how easily the company can leave a market or sell its business. And then of course the risk that the firm faces. And then inventory movement. So muna ang how quickly products are sold. And then using scale economies and experience. So this is the ability to lower costs through larger production and experience. So next is the competitive position. So ang competitive position, it refers to how well the company and ang ilang products or services nilang gina-offer compete sa industry. So the following is the factors that measure the ability sa company to compete. So first is the sales volume or market share. Muna yung amount of products that is sold in the market and the company's share sa market. And then the product quality or product excellence. Muna yung quality sa product sa company compared sa ilang competitors. And then life cycle of a product. So this means whether the product is new, growing, mature, or kanang outdated na siya. And then life cycle of product replacement. So it means nga how easily can the old products be replaced with new ones. And then customer adherence or loyalty. So muna ang tendency sa customer nga magsigig balik or magsigig palit sa company. And then the utilization of capacity by competitors. So how effectively competitors use their production capacity. And then technological expertise. And then vertical merging or integration. Muna ang control sa company over the different stages sa kanang paghimo o pag-distribute sa products. And then rapidity of new product launches. So how quickly can the company produce or introduce new products sa market. So now we have the external dimension. So ang external dimension, it focuses sa factors outside the company that can affect the strategy. So first we have the stability position. So it refers sa kung unsa ka stable or changing the external environment sa company. So this could include changes sa technology, prices, competition, and others nga makaapekto sa how easily a company operates. So these factors could include technological development. So muna ang changes in technology nga makaapekto sa business. And then inflation rates, muna ang changes sa prices sa mga goods and services. And then demand elasticity. So this refers to how much customer demand changes when ang prices po ga-change. So next then is price points of similar goods. So muna ang prices sa mga similar products offered by the competitors. And then obstacles to entering industry. And then next is rivalry or competitive pressure, muna ang level of competition among other businesses. And then demand elasticity at a price. So muna ang change in demand sa mga customer which is caused by the changes sa prices. And then pressure from replacement. So muna ang effect sa mga alternative products that customers can choose instead. So next we have the industry position. So ang industry position, it refers sa kung unsa ka attractive, strong, and promising ang industry. So the factors included para to determine the attractiveness and strength sa industry is the following. So first is possibility of growth. Muna siyang potential for the industry to expand. And then next you have the earning potential. So muna yung possibility of making profits in the industry. And then monetary security. Muna siya ang financial stability of the industry. And then technological expertise. And then use of resources. And then strength in capital. So muna yung availability and strength sa financial resources in the industry. And then ease of entering the industry. So kung unsa ka sayon or lisod for new businesses to enter this industry. And then productivity and capacity use. So muna ang kung sa ka effective ang businesses sa pagproduce silang goods and use the resources. And then lastly is the negotiating position of manufacturers. So muna ang ability of manufacturers to influence prices and business terms. This is the space matrix. So as you can see, there are 4 quadrants. So kaning conservative, aggressive, defensive, and competitive. So there are 4 types of strategies in the space matrix. So there is aggressive strategy, competitive strategy, conservative strategy, and defensive strategy. So first is the aggressive strategy. So this is used when the company is in a strong overall position. So they can use ang ilahang strength para maka-take advantage sa mga opportunities, expand, and improve their business. So this can include mga strategies like market expansion or product development. So for example, a successful cafe has a strong finances, loyal customers, and nasa like strong brand, and also operates in a growing market. So instead of simply maintaining their current position or their current business, they may open new branches para maka-expand. And then we have the competitive strategy. So it is used when the company has strong competitive advantage but they are facing competition or an unstable environment. So companies, they will focus sa pag-improve silang market and financial position. So for example, ang cafe has a financially stable siya, and it has a loyal customers, but the market is not growing quickly. So instead nga mag-open sila og new branches, mag-focus sila sa pag-improve sila existing products and attracting more customers locally. Next is the conservative strategy. So this kaninga strategy is go-focus siya on avoiding taking risk, like avoiding taking unnecessary risk and just staying within the strengths of company or the core sa business. So it is used when ang company is financial stable pero it does not have the opportunities for major growth. So possible strategies could include market penetration, market expansion, product development, and associated diversification. So, in a simple way, ang conservative strategy is to mag-improve ka sa business while avoiding unnecessary risk. And then next is the defensive strategy. So, ginagamit ni siya when ang company is in a weak and vulnerable position and they are facing serious threats. So, ang company is doomed to collapse na gid siya ba. So, it could be that they are facing financial problems, weak ang ilang competitiveness, unstable ang external condition or ang ilang environment or ang industry o unattractive ang industry. So mag-focus sila on reducing weaknesses and further losses. So one of its possible strategies is reduction, divestment, liquidation, and associated diversification. So for example, a business is losing money and they are nag-decline ang ilang customers and they are facing strong competition. So instead of expanding their business, mag-focus na lang sila sa pag-reduce silang unnecessary expenses or mag-sell sila silang assets or just close their unprofitable operations. So the following are the steps necessary to create a space matrix. So una is to magpili kag variables and then identify the factors that will be used to measure the 4 dimensions, which is ang financial position or FP, competitive position or CP, stability position or SP, and then industry position or IP. And then second is to give scores to FP and IP. So i-rate nimo ang each FP and IP factor from positive 1 to positive 7. So positive 1 as the weakest and then positive 7 as the strongest. And then third, you give scores to SP and CP. So i-rate nimo ang each SP and CP factor from negative 1 as the best and then negative 7 as the worst. So FP and CP can be compared with competitors, while ang IP and SP can be compared with other industries or industry conditions. And then for fourth, i-calculate nimo ang average score. So i-add ang tanan scores for each dimension and then divide by the number of factors. And then this gives the average scores for FP, CP, SP, and IP. And the fifth step is to plot the scores. So we are going to place the average score on the appropriate axis of the space matrix and then add the scores to determine the x coordinate and y coordinate and then plot their intersection. For example, to determine the x-axis, so i-add na to ang CP and IP. So for example, ang CP kay na average nga anay score nga negative 3 and then ang IP na ay score nga positive 5. So that is ang answer is positive 2. So that is the x coordinate. And then so y coordinate, i-add ang FP and ang SP. So for example, ang FP kay na ay positive 4 and then i-add siya sa SP which has, for example, negative 3. So ang answer is na ay positive 1. So, and then we are going to plot the coordinates. So ang x coordinate, diba, is positive 2. So right here. And then ang y coordinate is positive 1. Right here. So, and then i-plot din nimo kung asa sila nag-intersect, kung asa sila nag-meet. So, dani. So, that would be right here. So, muna ang ilang intersection. And then, after that, for the last step is we draw the vector. So we draw our arrow right from the center of the matrix toward the intersection point. So muni ang center. So we draw an arrow paingon sa intersection point. So right here. Ano siya? So ang direction of the vector shows the company's recommended strategy. So as you can see here, gikan sa center of the matrix, so ang arrow nagpaingon siya towards sa aggressive nga quadrant. So that means na ang recommended strategy for the example is aggressive strategy.
Decision and action evaluation. It is a strategic management tool that helps formulate strategies by focusing on the competitive position of the company. Sumoni ang makahelp sa company to decide what strategies na need nila i-implement to achieve their goal. So it guides them like a map kung aha sila padulong o aharasan sila dito. So we have 4 space metrics here. So I just want you to know na kanisi conservative, aggressive, defensive, and competitive is ma-align ni siya ani upat, which are the financial position, competitive position, industry position, and stability position or ginatawag sa siyang environmental position to make a graph na diri ma-judge ang imuhang company or products. Next is nagagamit din siya of Cartesian coordinate plane with X and Y axis to form 4 quadrants. The competitive position or the competitive advantage is on the left of the quadrant of x-axis, with -1 is the best and -y for the worst, with -1 closest to center. So for industry strength, it is on the right side of the quadrant or the x-axis, with +1 for the worst to +6 for the best. So with +1 closest to center. So for environmental stability is on the bottom of the quadrant or the y-axis, with -1 for the best to -6 for the worst. So with -1 closest to the center. So last for the financial strength is on the top of the quadrant or the y-axis, with +1 for the worst to +6 for the best, with +1 closest to center. So sa quadrant 1 or the top right, makita nimo si aggressive. So your industry is attractive and stable, and you have a competitive advantage which you must strive to retain. So threats of a new entrance present. So for quadrant 2, top left, makita nimo sa si conservative. So the industry is potentially stable, but the growth rate is low. So the company, however, is financially stable. So sa quadrant 3, for the bottom left, so makita nimo si defensive. So the industry is unattractive. Your company lacks financial strength and competitive products. So for the quadrant 4 or the bottom right, makita nimo si competitive position. So the industry here is attractive and relatively unstable. So the company here has some competitive advantage, focus on financial stability.
So we have an example here of a space matrix for a bank. So sa kilid na makita ni mga ratings na ay man negative or positive. So mao ni ang imong judgment nga ma-come up through time. And for the conclusions, so the calculations product or directional vector of positive 0.33 and negative 2.08. So this places the bank in the competitive quadrant, meaning it should focus on strategies that help it compete and strengthens its position.
So mao ni siya ang ginagamit for ratings to judge the company situation. So we're moving on to BCG Matrix. So BCG is a firm by the name Boston Consulting Group, which provides consulting services to various businesses. So in a competitive business environment, some products are growing rapidly, others are stable, and some are in decline. So the BCG Matrix helps companies figure out where to invest the resources, which products to develop, and which ones to phase out. So for example, imong business is ang shake. So you want to know which flavor are popular, which ones make you money, and which ones might become popular. Kana bitawng naay possibility nga mag-trend siya. And lastly, unsa nga flavor ang ili na kaayo gakahali. So it looks at 2 things, market growth and market share. So sa market growth, in which the market of a product is expanding. So if higher ang market growth, higher sad ang chance nga ma-expand ang imong product, while a lower market growth suggests a mature or declining market. So for the market share, mao ni siya ang measure sa imong market share towards your largest competitor. So if high ang imong market share, it means ikaw ang namuna. While if low sad ang imong market share, then hinagyud ang imong products or mas may advantage ang imong competitor. So we have 4 categories for BCG Matrix. So number 1 is the star. A star is like a very popular toy that many children want, and more children are starting to want it. So it has a high market growth and high market share. So it can make a lot of money but also needs more investment to keep growing. So mao ni siya ang nanguna nga products and in demand gyud and get trending. So kanid man niya mo expand to meet the demand, so need gyud sad og higher investment. But si Star, dili siya directly ma-achieve but need siya long-term investment pero sure gyud nga mo boom. So for example, si YouTube. So it is an online video is growing rapidly and YouTube has a high market share. So, number 2 is cash cow. A cash cow is like your old favorite toy that everyone already knows and likes. You don't need to spend much to make it popular because it already is. So it has low market growth but high market shares. Then it continues to generate money with less investment. So si cash cow is steady lang but profitable gyapon kay since in demand gyapon ang product. So example is si Google search. So the Google search market is mature but Google has a very high market share and generates significant cash. So number 3 is the question mark. So a question mark is like a new toy that could become very popular but not many children know about it yet. So it has a high market growth but low market share. So the company must decide whether to invest more to make it successful or eventually stop it. So si question mark is like nag-introduce kag new product na naay possibility mo boom niya mahimong star or cash cow. But if dili ma-manage pag-ayo, ma-fall gid siya into docs. So example si Google Drive and Google Docs. So, cloud services are growing quickly but Google has a lower market share than some competitors. So for the last one is a dog. Dili dog nga iroha. A dog is like a toy that very few children want anymore. So the demand is low and it is not becoming more popular. So it has low market growth and low market share. The company may decide to discontinue or sell it. So a dog is mao na ning product nga dili na kaayo halin sa market. So ang buhaton sa businessman is i-resell into a short price para mahalin lang or i-divest which means nga totally iwala na ang kaning product. So for example kani sa Orkut. So it lost popularity and was eventually discontinued. So let's move on to BCG strategies. Now, we have 4 strategies now. 1 is to build, number 2 is to hold, and number 3 i-harvest, and lastly is to divest. So if ang product na as a question mark categories, then the company should build a stronger investment, not only financially but strategically. So if it is a star, then the strategy is to hold by maintaining its market share and likayan gyud nga mapildi or mas maka-take advantage ang competitors. Then if it is a cash, so the strategy is to harvest profit and generate more money. And if it is a dog, then the company should divest or i-lower niya ang amount sa kanang product para mahalin lang or dili na siya mo continue pa og himuan ang product. Di ba bisag unsa na kanais na product na agi na limitations. So same sa BCG matrix. The BCG matrix is useful but it is not perfect because market data can be difficult or expensive to obtain. Since ang data gyud is dynamic, which means nagaka-change gid siya over time, o costly gid siya kay needed man gyud nimo isa-isahan pag-identify sa mga products nga need nimo i-put sa matrix. And high market share does not always mean high profit. So, dili baya sa tanan panahon is okay gid ang imong business, no? Dili baya maligkayan na some incidents nga maka-affect sa imong business. And it also doesn't mean that you're on a lower market share is dili na ka maka-earn of higher profit. Gadepend gihapon siya sa imong mga strategies. So another limitations of BCG matrix is ga-focus lang siya sa current scenario. Wala gid kayo siya gahatag og great insights nga maka-help og improve sa isa ka product. Though there are some strategies that provided pero dili gyud gina-specify ug unsa gyud ang buhaton nga gis-prescribe in the matrix. Now, let's move on to another strategy matrix. So this one is called Grand Strategy Matrix. Think of the Grand Strategy Matrix as another map for a company. So it asks 2 simple questions lang yun. So is the market growing fast or slowly? Is our market strong or weak compared with competitors? So that's the questions. So now I just want to introduce these quadrants and just a simple highlights lang because later on, it will be discussed by the next reporter. So for quadrant 1, fast growth plus strong position. So the company is strong and the market is growing fast. This is a great situation, so the company should expand and grow. For quadrant 2, fast growth plus weak position. So the market is growing, but the company is not strongly enough yet. So it should find ways to improve and compete better. So for the quadrant 3, slow growth plus weak position. The company is weak and the market is not growing much. So it may need to reduce, restructure, sell, or close some businesses. So for the last one, the quadrant 4, slow growth plus strong position. The company is strong, but the market is growing slowly. It can use its strength to enter new businesses or diversify.
How to develop Grand Strategy Matrix. So, a Grand Strategy Matrix is mo ni siya ang tool nga ginagamit sa businesses to choose kung unsay best na strategies gamiton based on competitive position, strong or weak, market growth, slow or fast. It has 4 quadrants. The quadrant 1 is strong position plus fast growth. So the business is successful and the goal is to maintain growth and competitive advantage. And the strategies is to improve products, expand markets, and increase customers. Quadrant 2 is weak position plus fast growth, means that the market is good but the business is weak. But its goal is to improve competitiveness. And its strategies should improve quality, marketing, and operations. Quadrant 3 is weak position plus slow growth, means that the business faces many problems, and its goal is to recover and improve its position. And its strategies should be reduce cost, change strategies, or improve performance. And quadrant 4 is strong position plus slow growth, means that the business is strong but the market grows slowly. And its goal is to find new opportunities. And the strategy should be diversification, new products, or new markets. Purpose of your strategies. So the main purpose of Grand Strategy Matrix is to help a company to determine kung unsay kailangan buhaton based sa situation. Like for quadrant 1, ang goal dani is kanang i-maintain ang competitive advantage and ang rapid growth. And then since ang business is kuan naman siya kanang already doing well, so ang kailangan is i-continue gyud nga mag-grow and ma-protect ang advantage dadto. And then for quadrant 2, 3, and 4 is mas ga-focus sila more on mangita og pamaagi to move toward a better business position. Questions for your strategies. So ang strategy is dapat fit siya sa situation sa company. There are 9 possible strategies for like six possible strategies. First is increasing market share. So market share means nga mo na siya ang portion of the market nga i-control sa business. Like for example, if naay 100 nga customers nga gapalit da na nga particular product and ang imong and your company serves 30 of them, means nga imong company has approximately 30% of market share. Number 2 is finding new markets. So the company can sell its existing products to a new customer or new locations. Like for example, ang ilang clothing business is originally diri sa Talisayan sila gasel, but then they start to sell na dayon sa Cagayan de Oro, like for like new locations. So number 3 is developing products. So this means nga mo create og new or like i-improve ang mga products. Number 4 is selling asset, means nga pwede nga ang kumpanya is mabaligya nilang ilang asset nga kanang dili na kailangan nga mukuan pa og money or like kailangan pa nila mo reduce og mga unnecessary nga resources. Number 5 is reducing cost, means nga ang business tries to lower expense while still ga-maintain sila sa kanang nice nga quality. Like mangita sila og cheaper supplier for materials but still no nga kanang even though cheap ilang kanang mga supplier materials but still tsada ang quality. Number 6 is joint venture. So joint venture only happens when naay duha ka business nga ga-cooperate on a particular business project. Like for example, si company A o si company B. Si company A is na siya money while si company B is na siya technology. So di ba if mo work sila together, no, so naikuan nga maka-develop gid sila og quality or like kanang tsada nga product. Utilizing strategies. Ang business is dili siya necessary nga kanang mo stay the same lang gyapon iyang quadrant since situation is can change anytime. Like for example, ang iyang competitive position is strong and then iyang market growth is fast. That means nga ang iyang competition increases. But if ang iyang competitive position is weak but ang iyang market growth is fast, that means nga naay i-improve ang management dadto sa iyang business. And Grand Strategy Matrix is useful because if a business prepares its strategies early, means dali ra siya maka-response if ever na ay sales decrease growth slowdowns, and ang company loses its competitive advantage. So in the market share, the first quadrant mainly focus on like rapid growth while maintaining competitive advantage. And while the other quadrants is focus sila more on improving the company's position and increasing market share. Number 3 is Quantitative Strategic Planning Matrix or QSPM. QSPM, mo ni siya ang tools nga ginagamit to compare different strategies and para mo choose the best one strategy. They will ask which strategy is more attractive and suitable for the business. For example, which suitable strategy? Strategy A, buy a competitor, or strategy B, expand internally. QSPM helps determine which choice is better for the strategy. In QSPM, there are 3 steps of the analytical framework for strategy formulation is where the QSPM methodology seeks to objectively choose the optimum plan. These are the 3 stages in QSPM. Let's start with stage 1, identify strategic factors. The business first identifies the important factors that affect the business. So they use IFE matrix and EFA matrix. IFA matrix stands for Internal Factor Evaluation Matrix, means identifies the business strengths and weakness, while the EFE matrix or the External Factor Evaluation Matrix means identifies the business's opportunities and threats. Next is stage 2, develop possible strategies. This stage, after identifying the important factors, the business develops possible strategies. So they use 4 tools. First is SWOT analysis, looks at strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats to develop strategies. Second is SPACE matrix. It is to help determine the company's strategic position and what type of strategy it should pursue. Next is BCG matrix. So this helps business decide how to manage its different products or business units. 4 is IE matrix or internal external matrix. So uses internal and external factors to help determine what is appropriate strategy for the business. Stage 3 is choose the best strategy. The business now compares the possible strategies using QSPM because the goal is to select the strategy that best fits the company's objective. It simply means that which strategy is the best for us or which strategy is the best to pursue. Steps in creating QSPM. In creating QSPM, there are 6 stages. Stage 1 is identify factors, what its strength, weakness, opportunities, threats. Stage 2, choose strategies. It is to identify possible strategies that what can a company use. And stage 3 is gave ways. Assign importance to each factor. And stage 4 give attractiveness scores or AS. Each strategy is 0 means not relevant, 1 means not attractive, 2 means somewhat attractive, and 3 is acceptable, and last but not the least, 4 means most attractive. Stage 5 is calculate total attractiveness score or the TAS. The formula is TAS equals weight times attractiveness score. So means that a higher TAS means a better strategy. In stage 6, choose the best strategies. So the strategies nga naay highest total score is mo na siya ang most attractive choice or best strategy. Number 5 is ethics in strategic planning. So ethics means doing what is right and responsible in business decisions. So there are ways to include ethics. Number 1 is you need to set clear and ethical rules. And number 2 is practice ethical behavior. Number 3 is you need to train employees about ethics. And number 4 is you monitor employee actions. And number 5 is to maintain honesty and integrity. Number 6, ethics and social responsibilities. So, in businesses, business should consider ang effects sa ilang decision towards their employees, customers, suppliers, and community. So, also, si ethics is mo help siya sa businesses nga ma-maintain ang trust and make responsible decisions. The last but not the least is the role of ethics in strategic planning. So, all professionals have a responsibility to think carefully about ethical problems. This means that when making business decision, professionals should ask, is this decision right or wrong? Or what will be the effect of this decision towards others? Right? So, ethics should be considered in the company's behavior, decision, and actions. Like for example, a company can choose a cheaper supplier to reduce cost, but before doing so, it should also ask like kani ba siya nga supplier is ginatreat ba yung workers fairly and follow ba sa proper standards? So if ang company gina-consider ni siya nga ethical concern, so they are practicing ethical strategic planning.
And that's all. Thank you.